think of your favorite steakhouse, chances are the first thing you think of are these beauties right here. Steakhouse Yeast Rolls, served hot, fresh, and all you can eat. But what do you do when eating out gets too expensive? Or worse yet, a global pandemic forces the only place in town that serves these little pieces of heaven to close its doors. You make them yourself. And in this video, I'm going to show you how. Follow me into the kitchen. To make this recipe, we'll be using half a cup of warm water, 1 packet of yeast, a tablespoon of granulated sugar for the yeast, half a cup of warm milk, 1/4 of a cup to 1/3 of a cup if you like your rolls sweeter of granulated sugar for the rolls themselves, 1/3 a cup of butter or margarine softened, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, 3 1/2 cups of bread flour, and for the glaze, 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of honey. Begin by prepping your workspace. Here we've laid out some parchment paper and we are lightly sprinkling flour all over it, spreading it out a little bit. Next, you're going to add 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, and 1 package of yeast. You're going to want to make sure to check the expiration date on your yeast, because if it's too old, it won't foam, your yeast is dead, and you need fresh yeast before you begin. You add these to the half a cup of warm water, and you get a spoon and you stir. Now you're going, once you've got it stirred, you're going to cover it. I guess we got a paper towel here to do that with. Let it sit for about 15 minutes and begin to foam. If it doesn't start foaming, your yeast is dead, you need fresh yeast. Okay, while that is doing that, we are going to measure out our 1/3 of a cup of butter. The paper on the side here says that 5 1/3 tablespoons is 1/3 of a cup. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/3 is right here. Okay, we cut that and we are going to set it aside for the moment. Set it aside for the moment, and we are going to get our half a cup of milk. It's in the fridge at the moment. It's a little over half. I need to, but that'll work still. We're going to put it in the microwave for about a minute because this has got to be warm too. Alright, and we will be back for the next step. Okay, now that the yeast has been sitting for 15 minutes and the milk has been cooling off, we're going to go ahead and add 3 1/2 cups of bread flour. I may have to open up a whole other bag for this. In fact, I will, because that's less than 2 cups right there. That's all in that. That's about a cup and a half. All right. That looks like about 3.5 cups to me. Okay, we're going to add that. 1 teaspoon of salt. One-fourth to 1/3 a cup of sugar. We are using 1/3 a cup of sugar, so we got our sweeter rolls. Our 1/2 cup of milk. One egg. Our 1/3 cup of butter. And finally, our nice foamy yeast mixture. Should get all that in. Okay. Add all that to a mixing bowl. Make sure you've got a dough hook attachment on it. Lock this in place and turn on the mixer. Let it mix the dough. Let it mix until it produces a nice, kind of a thickish dough. You may need to get a spoon and kind of put some of the flour down in there that is not mixing. In order to kind of mix it in. Okay. This looks like it's pretty well mixed. So, we're going to... We turned it up by accident. Okay. Well, let's do that for a minute and see what happens. There we go. Alright. Alright, our next step is to remove the dough from the mixer. Put it on our floured surface. And now we're going to knead it for about 10 minutes. Alright, our dough is kneaded. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wet this towel with some warm water and wring it out nice and, there we go. And we have pre-greased our bowl here. We're going to take our dough and we're going to put it in the bowl. Make sure that you turn it over so that you get oil on both sides. Kind of knead it a little more. Now you take your towel, cover it, cover the bowl, and put this in a cool or dry place to rise for 1 hour. And then we will come back to the final steps. Okay, now that you've given your dough a massage and let it relax in the bowl for an hour to rise, now it's time to beat it like it stole something. Punch the dough back down, like so. And now we're going to take it back out and put it on our pre-greased cookie sheet. And you'll also notice that the oven is preheating to 400 degrees. Now what we're going to do is get a knife, cut the dough into pieces to make our rolls. You shape them in any shape you want to. Let's see. I like to make them as round as possible. And the size of your rolls will depend on the size as you cut them. Let's see. Okay, we have cut and shaped our dough into a dozen rolls. Now the next step is to cover them again for 20 to 30 minutes to let them rise. And then we will put, the last step will be to put on the glaze and put in the oven. Alright, now the rolls have been covered for about half an hour. Now we're going to make the glaze and put them in the oven. To make the glaze, you're going to want to mix together 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of honey. Now you can either mix them together in a saucepan and melt them together. You can do what I've done here. Melt the butter in the microwave and then add the honey in. Boy, this is some really thick honey. Wow. It's also very good.
According to rumors, somewhere deep in the far reaches of the New World is a city made entirely of gold. It's called Cibola. This was not just a city made of gold, but everything was gold. Their plates, their cups, everything. I mean, it's very exciting to Coronado.
Alright.
No one has been able to find the
And you're going to mix the two together thoroughly.
hundreds of miles north of Spanish territory. He provides Coronado with maps that lead to
Like so.
Armed with this information, Coronado thinks he can discover Cibola and claim its wealth. If Coronado is able to find the city, not only would the discovery make him a hero.
Now, once you've got it mixed about as well as you can mix it, stuff a basting brush, like so, and thoroughly cover each roll. Okay, we have coated each and every one of our rolls with the honey and butter glaze. Now we're going to stick it in the oven and cook for 10 minutes. And when we come back, I will show you the finished product. Okay, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make steakhouse yeast rolls. Don't these look delicious? Be sure to join us next time when I make another delicious recipe. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, guys. Peace.